Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd. If you are just tuning in, we just finished going over some predictions for the NFL trade deadline that takes place in just about 2 weeks, as well as going over the two massive trades that took place from the Titans this afternoon. In this segment, we finish up our NFL coverage. We talk all about the NFL rookie reports, as we do every single Wednesday. We pick out the top 5 offensive rookie performances, and we break them down. This week, not going to lie to you, there were only a handful of rookies that I thought had really good games. We're going to talk about all of them and give you our top 5. But before we do that, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you are on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Wednesday, October 23rd. But like I was saying, in this segment, we finish off our NFL coverage before we finish off our show with the NBA, talking all about the rookies. The Week 7 NFL rookie report is here, and as always, I have picked out my top 5 rookies of the week, but we got more than that. We had some rookies that made their first NFL appearances, and we're going to start over there. In garbage time, we got to see just a little bit of Michael Penix, and he didn't do much. 1 for 1 for 14 yards, but he's got the best completion percentage in the history of the NFL right now. 1,000%. You can't get any better than that. Obviously, it was in garbage time. It wasn't a particularly crazy throw, super high level of difficulty, but he went in there, made a guy miss, extended the play, found a guy down the sideline, and got a little bit of yak there. So congratulations to Michael Penix on getting in the game. He's a guy that I really do like. Now, we need to see more of him, but he's probably not going to get into too much action for at least the next 2 years. So it's good to see him out there, even if it's just in garbage time, completing a pass against the Seahawks. If this continues out, he's going to be a good quarterback. I liked what I saw in very, very limited, very, very limited action out of Michael Penix. A couple other guys that didn't play enough or didn't put up the stats to make the top 5. Jaden Daniels obviously was on pace to have an awesome game. In just the first series of the game, 2 completions for 6 yards, not too great, but he also broke out like a 40-yard run. He rushed the ball 3 times for 50 yards. He was on pace for a monster game. Unfortunately, he gets hurt, and it doesn't seem like he's going to play this week against Caleb Williams and the Bears, who were on a bye week this week, so none of those Bears rookies are on this list as well. The other one, Spencer Rattler, did not have a good game. He gets a chance, probably his last chance to start this week Spencer Rattler probably gets his last chance to start this week as well when the Saints take on the Chargers on the road here. But like I was saying, he didn't have his greatest game. 2 fumbles, 1 return for a touchdown, 172 yards. And then the receivers were a little bit disappointing. Marvin Harrison, 3 for 21, dropped a huge pass that would have meant a lot for this team as they continued down as they went for a comeback win. They ended up winning anyway, but he wasn't super impactful on that game. Now we get to our top 5. And I'm going to start off with another receiver, Malik Nabers, coming back from a extended concussion break, 2 weeks off after suffering what looked like a pretty bad concussion against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. The Giants' offense just was bad. He was by far the best part of that offense, as is expected, but he still didn't do much. 4 catches, 41 yards, didn't get targeted enough. And I know that's kind of crazy to say because he basically leads the league in targets right now, or at least all rookies, but he's been playing really good football. He needs to get the ball he needs to get looked at a little more, and that didn't happen in this Eagles game. That Giants offensive line is terrible, and I don't think he's going to have a huge factor going forward, especially without Andrew Thomas in the game. But the rookie performances weren't great this week, so he gets to be that number 5 receiver, number 5 overall offensive rookie this week. At number 4, it's a fellow rookie, Keon Coleman. He got bumped to that wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 role with the addition of Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper comes in, has a good game, catches a touchdown, but Keon Coleman paces everyone on that team for yards, 4 for 125. He's a guy that's going to make all of those contested catches. He doesn't great at making separation, which has been the knock on him all the way through college, but still, I like him with Josh Allen. He's going to be a guy that'll go up and get the ball. Josh Allen is a guy that's not scared to put the ball, give his guys a 50-50 shot, and Keon Coleman is a guy that I trust to go and make those catches a lot of the time. Keon Coleman, 4 for 125 in this game, his best game of his young career so far. He's only going to get better as time continues. And as we hit our top 3, this is where we start to get the actual good performances. At number 3 for the Week 7 rookie report, we're putting on Bo Nix, and I know that I have been known to be a Bo Nix hater, honestly, and still, it doesn't change. He didn't have his greatest game. There's a lot of things that he did wrong, but there's a lot of things he did right. Namely, he didn't turn the ball over. And when you're looking at a quarterback that has the play style of Bo Nix, the guy that isn't going to make those big plays on his own, a guy that isn't going to, change the game. He's going to be a lot more of a game manager type than a lot of these other rookie quarterbacks. He's not turning the ball over, and that is the most important thing. He's also been able to get a lot of important yards on the ground. Bo Nix, 10 for 75 on the ground. He's basically leading his team in rushing almost every single week. Now, Javonte Williams finally had a good week on the ground this week, so he didn't pace the team this week. But still, 10 for 75, fun. Good performance. They didn't let him knee down. I think that's a fun little thing. He didn't lose his rushing stats there. I think that's a fun thing that Sean Payton did over there. As far as in the air, again, he didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make the mistakes, but he didn't do anything great. 16 for 26, 164 yards. Not the greatest performance, but with the rookie crop as it is this week, with Caleb Williams and the Bears not on a bye, Jaden Daniels getting hurt, and the receivers kind of having an off day, he gets that number 3 spot, the third best rookie of the week. At number 2, I had a little bit of a fight here between number 2 and number 1. I ultimately settled on Brian Thomas Jr. getting that number 2 spot as far as rookies go. He went 5 for 89 with a touchdown, 2 rushes for 2 yards on the ground. Not getting very much on those end arounds there, but still, Brian Thomas had a great game. He hasn't been the best rookie receiver, but he's been the most consistent rookie receiver. He hasn't missed time like Malik Neighbors has, which you can't really blame him for that. But unlike Marvin Harrison Jr., who hasn't really missed much time, only half a game with that concussion he suffered early on in the half of Week 6. He has consistently been that number 1 option. He has all of the top stats of this rookie receiver class outside of targets from Malik Neighbors, because Malik Neighbors is just that whole offense. He goes 5 for 89. Again, a huge play down the middle of the field, deep with great coverage. He's able to out-physical Christian Gonzalez, who is a very good corner on a not-so-good Patriots defense. This is a receiver who's continuing to grow, and I think should be in conversation for the best receiver in this rookie class, the way that he has consistently been playing and has really stepped up as the number 1 in that Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver room. And that leaves us with number 1. The number 1 rookie this week goes to a guy who made his second career start, Drake May. Drake May, 26 for 37, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns to go along with 18 yards on the ground. He's doing great things. He has a stat. He is the first quarterback through his first 2 games to do what he's done for over 500 yards and 5 touchdowns other than Dan Marino in his career. That is a ridiculous person to be compared to, especially when you're 0-2 in your first 2 starts. he has been awesome. He didn't turn the ball over. He was able to push the ball downfield, which is really what the Patriots and what I have been looking for when we're talking about evaluating Drake May. Drake May has been a revolution for these Patriots. This is exactly what you needed from him. You don't expect him to win. You don't expect him to come out and win every single game with the state of that team, but still, he gives this team hope. He gives this team an ability or a reason to believe that they can be competitive in these games at least, and that is a huge thing. Drake May is the number one rookie of the week. As we turn our attention over to rookie of the year for offense, it still looks like it's Jaden Daniels, at least in my opinion. Now, the question of his health is going to come into factor here because Caleb Williams has only gotten better every single week. And it doesn't seem like Jaden Daniels is going to play this week, so we're robbed of a Jaden Daniels-Caleb Williams matchup, which sucks because that was one that was circled on a lot of people's calendars heading into this game, heading into this week. Caleb Williams, I think, is still second. He's not even that far behind. If Jaden Daniels misses like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even if he just misses this week, with the Washington defense in the state it is, I'm sure Caleb Williams can have a monster game and might even be able to jump Jaden Daniels if he doesn't play this week. It's that close of a race right now. It should be good down the stretch if Jaden Daniels doesn't miss too much time. But keep an eye out for some of those receivers. Brian Thomas, not too far behind. I don't think Bo Nix really has a shot at it. Maybe if Malik Neighbors continues to put up the numbers that he's been putting up when he's healthy, he can catch up, but it seems like a 2-horse race right now. Andre says Caleb is creeping up on him. It looks like they're both going to make the playoffs. I think that would be cool. I think it's going to be really tough for the Bears to make the playoffs just because they're not going to win their division, and they would have to be and as good as they are, they're the worst team in their division, which is a crazy thing for me to say because undeniably the Bears are a very, very good team, right? The Bears are an awesome team. They have one of the best defenses in the league, and Caleb, the way he's improving, continues to be one of the better quarterbacks, the more consistent quarterbacks in this league, especially with the way he's been playing. I am almost 100% sure the Commanders will make the playoffs as long as Jaden stays healthy. But as far as the Bears, I am not convinced. They're going to have to be the 7 seed, if at all, because I think all 3 of those teams will finish ahead of them in the division. And it's not their fault. They just got unlucky with all of those teams being awesome. So I won't say they're a lock, but I think there is a chance. I have much more optimism for the Commanders to make the playoffs than the Bears, but it should be a lot of fun. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we turn our attention to the NBA. It tipped off yesterday. We have preseason power rankings that did not take into account of the games yesterday. So if they're a little off because of that, we'll fix them next week. And we're going to talk about the games that took place yesterday. LeBron and Bronny making history, and the Knicks getting blown out as the Celtics begin their title defense. We'll be right back with all of that and more coming up next here on Sports by GSMC Podcast Network.